we literally have to pin it, and as I showed you right now off camera, we have to stick, basically putting like a needle in a thread, only worse.
Yes.
I sat here for 10 minutes trying to do it.
Yeah.
Mayor did it in 2. It's rigged.
My first try and I did it.
Pinning. That's what we call
I'm a natural. I'm a natural.
Yes, and I can vouch for that. I did see it. So. They're called membranes. Each one of these has 240 modules. These modules right here contain filters. Right? Those are the filters that contain over there. Those filters, if you want to, and I'll show you. They have.
And they cost $1 million each, I think.
Oh gosh, it's very, very expensive here. Very, very expensive. And if you don't mind, I'll take my knife.
Yeah, we do that.
These are filtered. They're 3 micron size. These filters, believe it or not, you can't even see a hole in it.
And they got to do what they call pinging.
Yes,
pinging.
Yes, this is
when
it
they
right
go
here.
in, they
this
remove
is
the
what
bad ones. This is what they're removing and slide.
And this is what it's putting a needle through a thread where you have to actually sit there and you find a little hole. Believe it or not, there's a hole in there.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't look like nothing but a strand. But that's what it is, and each one of these contain all of these filter. This is where the filtration comes. It comes in, and then it picks up all the dirt, and then it backwashes. We call it a backwash here. We do this every 4 days, every 96 hours. We're doing this, and it comes as a backwash.
Well, you got to remember, I've learned some history about the water filtration plant, because this was probably the biggest issue I had to tackle, was to get this going. You know, literally, when I came in as mayor, we did a ribbon cutting, and that's when we had transitioned. We did a ribbon cutting, and we wasn't even getting a gallon of water.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Yeah, I had to fight, and until we got this thing running out full bore now.
Yes.
But this was a journey.
Oh, it has been.
A $54 million filtration plant was built. And when they gave it to me, it was not working. And I fought the company, Siemens, them about these
so you knew about the strands, the membranes?
Yeah.
Yes, these are called membranes.
Yes.
These are called filtration membranes. This is where all the dirt is, everything is collected and backwashed and thrown back out into sanitary, coming in, and just goes through all the hoses and everything else like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is the latest modern technology, the highest technology they have out there in water filtration.
The first one in the state of Indiana.
Yes.
East Chicago is the first one in the state of Indiana to have this ultrafiltration technology. And we are only one of 2 facilities in the whole state of Indiana still to this day that has this technology. And the biggest one, by the way. The other one only has a half a train.
And to me, that was the irony of all. When they came in doing, and they tried to say we had lead in our water. Find me the lead that we had in our water. We didn't, man. They sensationalized that. In all communities, they had lead pipes. You know what I mean? So why would you single us out when you could have went anywhere, you know, across America? Across America.
You know, we take great pride in testing our equipment, our pipes. We use the phosphate to coat the pipes, and we do every hour we do testing in the laboratory. We do bench testing, so that we make sure. Sometimes it's so redundant, you're like, oh my gosh, an hour I got to do this again. But you keep doing it. You keep doing it because again, it's vital, critical, and essential to the community's health and well-being. We're water. We're water. We're life. Water is life.
Let me tell you something. And just like with everything else, with me becoming mayor, I had to fight. I had to fight for everything. If it's infrastructure, if it's water, if it was the budget, everything I had to fight. Fire, police, everything I done had to fight. But East Chicago, we're healthier now than we've ever been. I challenged the EPA. I even told the the EPA do not release that report because they felt it was reckless. But I fought, and as you can see, we had the best plant then, and we got the best plant now in Chicago. We got the finest water. I challenge anybody
the best
to come
water and
put the water
land, and
against
that's
ours.
not just being biased. That's just the truth.
It's the truth.
That's the truth. And then we make sure as operators that we are doing our job to maintain that. You hear of all the Dixmoor, you hear of Flint, you hear of all these other places where there's operator error, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is something I take pride in. I've been here a short time, and I take a lot of pride in doing this, and I make sure that we're on top of things here.
And so, you know, I think they needed a poster child to expose the problem that they was having with filtration and water supply systems across the nation. So they wanted to use us for a poster child, figuring we weren't going to fight back. Fought them back. We won in court. We got our money. We got our additional trains in.
I just say, man, I put on the gloves. I put on the gloves, and we're going to work. We're going to work, man.
Put on the gloves. We was coming through fighting. and so we prevailed in court. We got our money. We was able to bring everything up to par. But the East Chicago has been a journey, but it's been a worthy one, because today I'm humbled because we have some high school kids coming here, and they're going to be able to see the operation of this water filtration plant. They say sometime out of sight is out of mind.
You take it for granted,
We take it for granted. We take it for granted. But the kids are going to be able to see what we have ready in East Chicago, and who knows, when they go to graduate from high school,
might pique their interest.
We're going to put a program together where they can transition from high school and come into a nice paying job. So I'm looking forward to this trip, bonding with his children so they can actually see what we have in Chicago.
All right. This is wonderful. Is that everybody? We got 12?
Hi. Hello.
This will be a great experience for you guys. This is awesome. I'm the plant manager here. My name is Obed Perez. I want to thank you guys for coming. Thank Mr. Hubbard for bringing you guys here, and the mayor for allowing this to happen. So we're going to give you a little tour of the place. We're going to give you a little description of how everything works. Our operator here is going to give you a run through the place, and right now we're going to head to our conference room.
We're doing parade waves, guys. Parade waves, okay? Alrighty.
So right now we're going to head to the conference room, and he's going to give you a little run through of how the plant works.
Jose, nice to meet you. Okay, you guys are ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, walk this way. You guys got to walk that way, man. Come on, it's no fun if you're not walking that way. No, you guys, I'm a silly grown man, so don't pardon my exuberance and my joy and my sense of humor. Have a seat. This is our conference room. This is where a lot of the magic happens, where the big heads are kind of gathering their thoughts and everything else. Wait for everyone to go in. Take one down, pass it around. We got these papers to go around. There you go. All right, like I said, I'm going to be a little silly, guys, but we're going to be serious here too, okay? Because it is a field trip. You're supposed to have fun, right? Yeah, a little more excitement, guys. You're supposed to have fun, right? Yeah, okay. All right, everybody set? Welcome to the most wonderful show here in East Chicago, where we take raw water from the lake and we convert it into potable drinking water. Not just any water, but the best drinking water. How many people drink out of a tap? You do? Not too many do. I guess you guys come from a different generation. When I grew up, we didn't have bottled water, so, you know, we had to drink tap water. But it's the best water. Start drinking tap water. It's the best water.
You can filter the tap water. You can get a filter, put it right on the...
Right, so we're going to run through the process with you. Again, my name is Jose Garza. Happy to have the Honorable Mayor Copeland here, our plant manager, Obed Perez, and our water director, Weena Guzman, over here with us today.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so, and you guys know Mr. Hubbard?
I got a question for him, Jose.
Sir.
Did you guys take a bath in that East Chicago water this morning?
Yeah.
I don't swear.
Well, we're responsible for having that water clean and without any crypto and without any guards, without any bacteria, anything else like that. So it's a neat process. We have a 1.5-mile tube of piping that goes out into Lake Michigan. You guys know where Lake Michigan is at, right? And it comes in. And it comes into the raw water plant. If you guys look at your sheets right there, it's coming in from Lake Michigan. It goes through some traveling screens. Basically, traveling screens are filtration screens where they pick up all the big clumps of debris and everything else going in there. And then it goes into another strainer. First and foremost, this place was built here in 2009, Mayor, would it?
Yes.
In 2009, this place here. State-of-the-art technology here.
Well, no, not built in 2009. You know,
It was started.
Yeah.
It started.
Operating, full operation in 2009.
Full operation in 2009. We are only one
Oh,
of
you
two.
said 2009.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We are only one of two facilities in the state of Indiana that uses this technology. Back in the day, you had more mechanical process to filter out your water. You had wells and you had things that you had to put into there physically. This is more of the technology where the computer, like anything else, computers are kind of running the show here. So we're one of two plants in the state of Indiana that has this technology. We're the biggest plant in the state of Indiana that has that technology. And we're still the best water in all the state. So getting back to the thing, the pipe that goes back into the...
go back and forth. This was a $54 million project. A $54 million
No, feel
project.
free to...
So generations to generations will be paying for this filtration plant.
Yes, you guys will be paying them when you become working adults, and maybe you'll come over here and work. Right? That process technology is a great field to get into. You guys, it opens up a lot of doors. So having said that, our old plant is across the way. It still operates maybe one time a week. We go out there and we do some filling, we do some running. I don't know if you guys have been to the other side of on Klein Avenue here by the marina. Are you guys familiar with that area? No? That's a different field trip. But there's a plant over there, the old plant, and this is the new plant. And if you follow, it goes to the traveling screen, raw water pumps. The raw water pumps, what they do is they bring in that raw water from the lake, and they take it through a cleaning process over there. Basically, they're weeding out all the garbage, all the muck, and everything else like that. And then they go through strainers. Those strainers, again, is what they are. They'll clean out all the small debris and everything else. And then we go through the filtration process. But you know what? You guys sit in the classroom all day. We're not going to sit in here and bore you here with sitting in a classroom type setting. We're going to get out there. It's a field trip. You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to see things. So I personally learned a lot more doing hands-on. So I don't know if you guys are ready to just go out there and see the hands-on.
Let me add
Go
something
ahead,
man. We have to filter the water because human waste gets dumped into the lake, and you look at animal waste from the fishes, birds, everything get dumped in it. And so then that means that humans can be exposed to E. coli. And that's just one of the things. And we're not talking about all the whole library of bacteria that would be deadly to the human body if it entered our body. Also, if you take a man, this is how essential water is. Our bodies, a man's body is 60% water. Okay, so about this much of my body is water. A woman's is half, 50% of a woman's body is water. That's how crucial water is. If you do not drink water, you will get dehydrated. Your body functions, your kidneys, your liver,
organs
just start shutting down. That's how essential water is. That's how essential water is. So think about that. That's why they tell you what? Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Especially if you're in sports and everything, you have to hydrate. If you're out running or hiking or walking and on a hot day, you have to stay hydrated because what? How do the water leave our body? It leaves it through our pores when we sweat. It comes out and pores evaporate, and you have to replenish it. If you don't, sooner or later, like I said, you'll pay a healthy price. So, but again, I'm not going to bore you with all those facts.
Well, to piggyback on what he says about how important water is life. As he says, 60 to 70% of our body is composed of water. Water is life. Without water, you cannot survive. You can survive days without eating food, but you need water or you can start to shut down. It is vital, critical, and essential. And we take that job very serious over here because we want to make sure you're getting the best water. The contaminants that he's saying, the bacteria, the E. coli, it'll get you sick. It can even kill you. There's, you have Flint, Michigan. You have Dixmoor, who just had an accident. You have, and I think we take water for granted. You know, only 3% of water in the whole world is drinkable. That's it, just 3%. 97% of the water is no good. It's salty. It's no good, and they're learning how to process that. I was reading somewhere where they trying to process salt water, and that would be great. But right now, only the fresh water is what's drinkable and potable. And again, we have that luxury. We take it for granted when we're just letting spill. We throw things into the drain, into the sewer, garbage. Don't ever let anyone or your friend, you see him littering or anything else, don't do that, because it's just going to wash up into the thing. Yes, we clean it out and everything else, but just think about that goes back into what you're drinking. You know, that goes back into the drains. So having said that, the bacteria is what really going to get you sick, and it's not going to feel good. I don't know if you guys ever had a tummy ache or whatever, and it just doesn't feel good. So we're done with here as far as going through the process. You guys have that in front of you. You have any questions, please feel free. I was one who always asked questions until the teacher said quit asking questions. You know, at the beginning of class, she told me, I just went back to school not too long ago, and she's like, ask questions, ask questions. So I'd always ask questions. She's like, you're slowing the class down. Well, I'm that guy, guys. So we're going to go into see what the actual filtration process looks like. Okay? Are you guys all set?
Do you have any questions?
No?
Well,
All right, there you guys are getting warmed up. I expect some questions later. Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy. Somebody might have the same question. Thank you, sir. Back up a little bit. Let me before we go back up a little bit. Let me show you guys before we get over here real quick. What you have on your sheets is basically what's on the screen over here. Look in there. This is a control room. This is where we as operators sit and monitor every water. We go through 9 million gallons roughly a day. Excuse me. We go through 9 million gallons of water a day is what we're making. We bring it in through the traveling screens, and we're watching, making sure these pumps are running. Can you guys hear me okay? No? We're making sure that everything is running and working operation. We follow it through here, and it goes into the raw water pump station, which is over here, and then it goes in through the filtration. From there, it just you follow the line. We go into our finished water tanks, and every 30 minutes, I'll explain that, we do a backwash where it goes into the recycling lift station and goes away. Our high service pumps, those are the ones that are bringing the water into all the city. But this is where we as operators just sit here and monitor, and we're here 24/7. You cannot leave this position. By law, we are mandated to stay here. Because again, why? Water is life. It is crucial. It is critical. It is essential. It is vital that we have good stuff going for you guys. Okay? So don't take water. These are what we call in-house trains, aka membranes. On the SCADA, which is a computer, we call them cells, membrane cells. I don't even know if there's that on your sheet. Got it? There he goes. This guy gets a point for the day. Somebody give him a sticker. That's it. The membrane filtration. These are your membrane filtration. Each one of these is composed of 240 filtration tubes, ultrafiltration, microfiltration. These tubes, and I'll break it down for you. I'll show you guys what's inside. But each one of these trains has 240. Every 30 minutes, we go through a backwash. What is a backwash? It's taking all that raw water. It's coming in. If you look underneath the trains, you guys can see, you guys can pick and choose a train. You have that orange pipe, right? The orange pipe, each one of these trains have them, so if you guys want to straight out to see them, each one of these is the raw water coming in from outside, from Lake Michigan. So it's going through the process over here where it backwashes, and it's called a backwash because it runs through the membranes, and then it comes right back up, so it filters it twice. And once it's filtered, it goes up into the green membrane filtrate, if you can see up there, the green tubing. And then that starts going into your, the waste goes back into the sanitary, to the plate settler, into the recycling, and it just comes back around. And you can see that process right here. You can see how the backwash takes it down, and it just keeps circulating. So once we have this water that's filtrated, going in through the filtration process, we go into the high service room. You guys can walk this way. Just be careful, watch your step. Don't touch anything. Please. Come on in, guys. Come on in. You know, you might be a little hard of hearing when you get out of here, but you'll be okay. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are fine. It's a little noisy in here, that's all. Pardon the noise. Come on in. As I was saying, once that water is filtrated, comes into that green, you saw the green piping, it comes into here. It goes out of here. And these were our old strainers, by the way. Let me interrupt you. These were the old strainers. You can look inside. This is what they used to have, where they have the little spine strainers on the backside. They have a better view of what's in there, you know. But basically, that came from the raw water. You guys can peek on the backside if you want. You can see what's on there. Yeah, there you go. Don't be afraid. Those are strainers. Those are the ones that were clearing out the debris and everything else like that. So, moving forward, the filtration process comes over here. Filtered water. So now the water is clean, it's potable, it's drinkable. Best water in all of the land. It goes down into here, and it disappears, right? Help me come this way, guys. Where does all that water go? Where does all the water, because we make 9 million gallons a day. Where does all that water go? What's behind door number 1? All right, somebody play a game with me, right? Here it is. Behind door number 1, we have 2 tanks. Those are our tanks. You guys can step outside if you want, but
I think
these are our
hold,
tanks.
is it 3 million each? Something?
I'm sorry?
What do these hold? 3 million?
They hold
4 million?
4 million gallons of water in each tank, 30 feet of water. And this is what we're doing. We're making water right now. We're probably at about 3.7 million gallons. It gets a little colder. They're not using much water. But when they're using a lot of water in the summertime, they're constantly filled. So this is a new one that the mayor put in right here, right? The second one. We only had one here when it opened up. And to accommodate the city and the industry, we had to put in another one. And then there's also one on Todd that was put there. And then there's also one at the old plant, which is a smaller one.
And then we also, the other tank we have is the large elevated tank that we have.
Yes.
That's the system stable. That's the big blue, like balloon you see over there on Chicago Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah, that big tank that has, everybody asks, and I never knew this until I started working here. Why does every city have those big tanks right there, right? Why is it up in the sky, you know? Well, that's because of gravity. When power isn't working, that drops the pressure and it brings it down and it feeds the city. And you'd be surprised how much water you can get. There's 1.5 million gallons, so that helps push all the water when nothing else is working. We bring that down twice a week, by the way, just to make sure that there's always fresh water in it. And it just flushes out. We can lower our pressure. Right now our pressure is 58 psi, pounds per square inch, and we lower it to 40 during that 5-hour period twice a week. But that's basically what it's there for. And I think we're in the process of building a new one, if I'm not mistaken. The mayor can acknowledge that, or Ms. Guzman can. Are we in the process of building a new water tank? Yeah.
They pumping water to the whole city. These 3 pumps right here, you see right here.
So yeah, so the water comes back from over there, and it comes back into here. So there's another pipe. So it's just basically coming back around, and this pipe, this blue, is what's going out to the city. This is where the fire hydrants, your homes, your businesses, everyone gets their water. So this is the good clean water. These pumps right here are constantly working. Yes, sir.
The green is non-potable and the blue is potable?
No, the green is potable.
Oh.
The green is potable. That's already filtered, but we just have to send it somewhere. So we take it in from the green, it goes into the ground. There's a pipe that goes into those 2 tanks. It fills those 2 tanks. So that's our reservoir. That's our basically what we're holding, and then it'll just come back in here.
So the blue is tap. That's going right now to the city. That's how we distinguish it.
Tap water to the city?
The blue, yeah, any blue piping, that's going out to the city right now.
Okay.
The green, that's going to our tanks. Okay, it just got added chemical to it, which is the chlorine. We have the feed tubes right over there. There's feeding tubes over there. We'll show you over there, phosphate and chlorine. It's just been fed to that water. That's going to go in the tanks, and that's going to also help contact time and mix that chemical into the water.
One more question.
Go ahead.
I know that they use alum to make the water look real clear.
Yeah.
Do they still use that?
So here, no. At the conventional plant, yes, because that's a different process. Over there is sand filters. Before it gets to the sand filters, you have to add a coagulant into the sedimentation basins. And that's going to help that dirt, a lot of the dirt settle out before it gets to the filters. Here, we don't have to because this special technology with our membranes, it filters out all that dirt. Yeah. Yes.
That's it, on each one. How do just these three like do the piping for the whole city?
I know, it's incredible. This gentleman asked how just through 3 pumps. Actually, there's only 2 pumps. There's only 2. This is a constant pump. This is in case of emergencies. We alternate. There's only 1 pump working, and it pumps up to 12 million gallons. Once it gets to 12 million gallons, then the other one will help it pump. But we also have the Todd water station, the Todd tank over there, that's also pumping out water. So how does it work like that? Pump? How does it pump the whole city?
How does it pump?
Yeah.
Well, it's a centrifugal pump, so these pumps are so huge. Look at the size of this motor. I mean, this is huge. So just the force behind that is causing the pump to a certain amount of force to push the amount of PSI or pressure to the city. It's just the size of these is what's maintaining that pressure.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that one pump like this will. It's a good question.
And like I said, over time, if the pressure's too high, we're pushing too much water, a lot of water. In the summertime, that does happen. This will actually come on, and we'll have 2 pumps running at a time to help meet that demand.
Good. All right.
Anything you want to add on there? Okay. Make sure you go over injection. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't think they. All right. All that.
No.
I'll help you out.
Yeah. You guys notice? You see how clean it has to be in here? Huh?
Mr. Perez was saying here, when it goes back out into the city, there's an injection point. So there's a phosphate that we feed it and hypochlorite.
Chlorine.
Yeah. You can better explain that.
So these are the injection points for our chemicals we feed. You can ingest them, it is safe. There's a phosphate area, and then the other side here is the chlorine. The phosphate is to coat the inside of the piping, prevent leaching, okay? And then the chlorine acts as a disinfectant. Kill any bacteria. You don't want any bacteria in your water. It's going to cause some serious problems in your stomach.
And what the phosphate does, it helps to keep the rust down on the pipes. Okay, because if you don't, just like they say, if you don't eat a balanced diet and all like that, your arteries do what? Over time, they just start closing up, colliding up until you have a heart attack. Same thing will happen here. The pipe will just rust start closing. So that helps the water flow through.
Yes.
All right, you take them out?
Yes, sir. His question, Jose.
Yes, sir.
There's a pipe up there that says sulfuric acid. What does that one do?
Okay, so that's if our pH is out of range. Never really happens because ours is surface water. We don't really have that issue of pH changing. It's usually consistent. But it's there just in case if that ever were to occur.
Now, how many of you know what turbidity is? Something is turbid. Anyone? Anyone wanna? You can't. Right. Something is turbid. There's turbidity in it. It's foggy. It's not clear. Each one of these trains has a turbidimeter, and that is letting us know the NTUs, the level of turbidity that's in it. And each one of these constantly have to be cleaned just to make sure that it's reading it right. because again, as Mr. Perez said, we don't get a lot of dirty water because we get lake water. It's not like down south where they use well water or they use river water where it's murky all the time. And over there, they are mandated by state to check it every week and to clean it every week. But we're getting fresh water. We're getting fresh water. We're so fortunate to be located here. East Chicago is a very great location where you have good water coming in. I'm not going to run you guys through these places right here for purposes of nature, but this is our electrical room. This is just, you want to peek in here, that's where we're going to be doing peeking. Here you go, young lady. Our electrical system, everything, all functionality comes here, okay? So that's just something for you guys to peek at. All right, I'm going to take you guys back to the filtration over here.
Also want to come back here. We have requirements we have to meet. This has to be below a certain number. I believe and I understand that the government entity is more stringent on us as opposed to, you know, bottled water. Okay? So we have to make sure, and we're required to make sure that water has a certain amount of clarity. Another word for turbidity is cloudiness. Okay? So you want it to be as clear as possible. We want to give you guys the best and highest quality of water.
And not only that, don't forget that this water, when it come out of the tap, you're not dealing with all of the chemicals that come off of plastic.
Yep.
Okay, plastic gives a lot of byproducts that come off of it. It's in the water that you're drinking. You think, you looking at the bottle, you think it's clear, but there's so much contamination in bottled water to blow your mind.
Especially when it sits in warehouses and
the heat get on it
and the heat and everything.
The plastic starts breaking down, and you're drinking in plastic. Here you don't get
It'll
that.
make you look at plastic bottled water differently. That's for sure.
And here you don't get that. And not only that, when you look at the cost of what it takes right here for 1 gallon of water, as opposed to what you're paying for a carton of water, here you probably get what, 1,000 gallons for that same amount that you're paying for that 136 or 32 case bottle of water. Another thing, this will always be there. Okay, you go, you turn on your tap, the water's there. You run out of them bottles, where you gotta go boogity boogie back to the stove, come back again, you know. And then we're not talking about the waste that it's doing to the planet. You know, yeah, we got all that plastic, but one day somebody got to figure out what to do with all that plastic because it's contaminating the whole world. So,
all right, good input. I'm gonna jump back to the filtration process. This is a membrane right here. This is what's inside of each of these casings. 240 per train, cell, membrane, whatever you want to call it. Got 240. Now these things are compromised of, I don't know if you guys know what optic fibers are, or back in the day if optic fiber was the thing. But basically there's strands, like spaghetti strands, and this is where the water is filtering. Guys, come on, let me give you guys some samples here. Each one of these, what? If you look, who doesn't have one? Okay. If you look at these, there's nothing, there's no hole. Look closely, there's a hole in there. All of these, they all have holes. It's like putting a needle through a thread here. When these go out of service,
can you see the hole in this? That's how small it is. And the water has to pass through it.
Now, we do a process here that's called pinning. Maintenance does that. But as an operator, we get hands-on and to see what pinning is all about. When one of these aren't functioning properly, because they do get clogged, because you see how, what is it? Or they break, you have to pin them, right? They break in the middle, you have to pin them so that you're not losing water, so that you get better pressure. So you have to put a pin through here. Yeah. This, I'll let the mayor hold up his trophy. I asked the mayor earlier when he got here, I said the pinning process is tough. You're not going to be able to get it. I've been sitting here for 10 minutes trying to do it. The mayor said, let me have it. Here's a pen. Try to put that pen through the top, and you will be amazed at how difficult it is. And
pull
so
it
we have to do through microscopic.
Try to put it in like I did right here, that little hole.
Got it? Okay, they have. You guys have younger eyes. This young lady got it right here. You know, I don't know if you guys want some pens here. She cheated. She cheated. Who wants some pens, you guys?
Here, let me, Mayor, I'll press them out there. I'll pass them out.
I mean, bro, how you so big? The first person. Appreciate it.
These are supposed to be maintained wet. They're not supposed to dry because then they brittle out and they break. So they're constantly wet. Thank you. So that's why they're a little sticky. They've been sitting out for a few days so that we can do this for you. Now remember, that little hole right there, that is removing the technology that we have, the state-of-the-art technology that we have here. It's removing all the bacteria, the microns, the Gargia, the Cryptosporidium, and viruses. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it looks like it's just a contraption right there, but it's so efficient. And again, it's creating that water so that it's vital, crucial, and essential to our health and our well-being. And that's what we do here.
And also in our system, we found that you can monitor how much COVID-19 viruses is in the city by tracking it through the water supply. Everything, diseases, all kind of STDs, any kind of diseases you can think about. We can tell when people go use their toilets, it goes into the water, it flushes back, it goes to our sanitary district, and we monitor all that. You have to keep the city healthy. You have to. And so then when we run it back through the system, everything gets filtered out.
And just to go back to the pitting, this apparatus right here, we put upright right there on there, and we got it because again, it's got to continuously stay wet. So we hook the whole stuff to it, and that's what this is called on top is for. And we're just literally sitting on top of there, and we're just trying to literally sit right here. Right now, I'm just sticking it in. It's not probably going into the hole. But who was able to pin their thing? You guys, you were. All right, Gina. That's why she's a bus driver. She can see. I can't see, guys. I have a tough time. Okay. So now, after the backwash is done, when we get all the crud out and all the viruses and everything else like that, that has to go somewhere, right? We go into the neutralization area. Why is it called neutralization area? Because we put in all the chemicals. When we do a backwash, we do every 4 days we do a backwash. We use a chlorine maintenance wash and an acid maintenance wash, where acid is running, citric acid is running through all the tubes, through all the membranes, through all the filters. Or we do chlorine, which running through all the filters to remove disinfectant, basically. And once that backwashes, it disperses it over here. And it goes into the smaller one is our water heater. You guys all have a water heater at home in your basement. You know, it's a little one, small one. This is our supersize water heater. But that's where all the backwash goes. The backwash, Junior, the backwash goes into the sanitary.
Yeah, this gets
the chemicals.
Each train has to get washed after a certain amount of filtering. And then after it does this thing as far as the washing, that needs to go in our neutralization post after the wash. We gotta neutralize whatever chemicals in there before we can dump it into the sanitation. So if it's a chlorine maintenance wash, we have to neutralize that high chlorine amount in that, and then it goes in here, we mix a chemical called sodium bisulfite, and that neutralizes the chlorine. Once it's at zero, the valve opens, it gets dumped to sanitation, and now that's sanitation's problem to worry about.
And don't forget, look around here. What do you see? You see jobs upon jobs upon jobs. Plumbers, electricians, carpenters. Everybody is needed in this field right here. You get certified like him. He has to be certified in order to operate this system. So it's so many jobs in this field. And what I put together up at Central, we put a program together for you can learn to be an EMT. Then we'll put a Cops of the Future program. We're going to put a similar program there so that your last 2 years of school, you can learn this right here. You can literally come out of school and be here and Tell them.
Process technology.
It pays good.
It does pay. It pays good. Process technology. I took that over at Ivy Tech. You don't have to go to a traditional four-year college. You can go to a trade school and just get the same education and even get a job on site. Even do. They work really well with communities and facilities and in the industry, especially here in this area. Don't wait till you're 51 like I did to go back to school, guys. You guys got to step ahead of the game. Go to school immediately when you get out of school, when you graduate, right? But you'd learn a lot of process technology. It'll help you with processing, filtration, chemicals. It'll help you with pharmaceuticals. It'll help you with stamping. Anything that requires a process. It's a good degree to have.
And I know about plumbing because I was a plumber. I was a pipe fitter plumber at Inland Steel back in the day. And like I said, I went to school for that 4-year apprenticeship, 3,860 hours of training, and then I was able to be a plumber. And plumbing is the only trade that is regulated. You don't. It's not in the state. You're
That's
not
why there's very
regulated to be an
little
electrician.
plumbers.
You're not regulated to be a carpenter. Why? Because an electrician mess up, you just burn down this building. But if a plumber mix the sewer line where the waste go out with the water line, you can contaminate a whole city. That's why it's heavily regulated. But it's a very high-paying profession to have.
But like you said, you have to be certified. We as operators cannot operate this place without having state certification. It is important that, so you have to study. So I had to take a test. I had to go through the Indiana Department of Environmental Management to get that test and get that certification. And here I am, licensed and certified. But it has to go through rigorous, like he says, training hours, apprenticeship.
The job is not taken lightly. It is serious.
Yes.
I don't think we put a bigger emphasis on that. You just can't come up to the streets and start filtering water. There are requirements by the state that you have to meet before you even get certified. And it is a process. That test isn't easy too, but there is opportunities because a lot of people are retiring. There's a generation that's retiring and leaving, and there are plenty of opportunities and a great field because you'll never have to worry about. Everyone needs water.
Yep.
It's a necessity. Okay?
It's vital, critical, and essential. And this job, our requirements to do the job right requires the same concept. It's a vital, critical, and essential. We do our job right. There's no half cutting it. There's like, I'll close my eyes and I'll just leave it like that. No. You're not, for the well-being of the community, you're not going to cut corners. You can't cut corners. There is no cutting corners here. So it is scary. And when I first came in for a tour here with him, he's like, what do you think? And that's the first word that came out of my mouth, a little scary. It's a lot of responsibility. Your health, your parents' health, your grandparents, it's a lot of responsibility to think, oh my gosh. And you know, even though I'm certified now, I still give this young man, because he's a very smart young man, I call him up, hey boss, this is what's going on. And he's like, all right, you got it, you know. And I still, you know, until we're doing our job right here, is what this said. And always crossing our T's and dotting our I's.
And to add to that, I went from being a plumber out at Inland Steel. I got on the fire department. I was a fireman for 27 and a half years before I became mayor. And you get it. You see, like when you was a little kid, on a blank piece of paper, you put the dots down, and then you start connecting the dots. Some people don't see the picture until they get to the last dot. Oh, that's what that is. But I saw how crucial water was, because if you go to that hydrant, you hit that hydrant, no water come out, people can die. So you start seeing how all these dots get connected across the city. So again, I'm telling you, this profession can lead to many other professions.
There's a role for everything. Like you said, it's all connected. It's all becomes one. Alrighty, I'm gonna show you guys the chemical rooms. We're not gonna allow you to go in there for the obvious. They're chemicals. Yeah. You know, we don't want anyone to melt or anything like that. I'm melting. Who saw Wizard of Oz? No? Oh my gosh, I'm showing my age. Gina, can you say you saw Wizard of Oz? You guys, oh, you did? Thank you. Thank you, young lady. You're right. You did? Okay. Yes, sir. The chemical rooms. Oh, I'm showing my age. I said Wizard of Oz, and they all looked at me with a blank stare.
Hey, I said, well, if you're old, then I'm ancient.
Okay. Well,
I'm 67.
I had a young man who went over there and said the ancient 80s. I said, 80s, ancient? You can't use that word in the same sense. You can't put those two synonymous. This is our phosphate room. These vats are phosphate. $62,000 each vat here. Just so that we can coat the piping so there's no leaching, so that you have fresh water. Because there's a lot of structure, and the mayor's working on that, where we're getting new infrastructure. I see that jobs opening up, or streets opening up everywhere on the south side, north side. So all the new infrastructure is going in, but this is what's coating the interior of the pipes. Or his analogy, it's what you're eating, you know, it's what you're going inside of you. So this is our phosphate. This is dosing constantly. Every hour, again, it's so vital. We come out here every hour to make sure that the numbers are reading right, that they are in accordance with the SCADA, with our computer system. Right here, we have the sodium bisulfite. This is the neutralization chemical. When we have chemicals that are in the neutralization tank, this is dosing over there, so that it balances out. And we usually use about 12 to 14 pounds of bisulfite every time we do a backwash, a chlorine wash. So it instead of putting chlorine in the sanitation, it just it balances it out, it neutralizes it. Then you have your sulfuric acid, and this stuff looks like stuff out of movies. You guys can peek in there. You know, there's a lot of piping, there's a lot of maintenance going on. You can peek in there. You can peek in there. Just a lot of maintenance going on, a lot of little things that work together. So when we have a problem, it's us as operators that have to notify maintenance. When we notify maintenance, they kind of want us to pinpoint, because they're not seeing what the problem is. Only we're seeing what the problem is. And we sat here one time, I come out here and we help maintenance, and it might be something as little as a strainer, something as little as a valve, but it all works together, and we have to constantly make sure everything's working.
Close that. Right here on the fire department, when we would go to a scene, we would look at this placard, they call it, and even though we don't know what's behind this door, we can look at this little card and we say, oh, flammability, the high risk of it is 0. We look right there, hazardous to your health, that's low as 1. Reactivity, okay, no, this is reactivity. And so then we can look at each one of these and see the risk. Now, behind door number 2, look right there. Look at the risk right there. The health risk on this one is a 3.
And it's what
see reactivity is a 2.
Top numbers are 3, right?
Yes.
Top numbers are 3. So each one of those triangle colors stand for something. Go ahead, Mayor.
No, I'm saying, even though it's low as far as flammability, okay, but look, it's something in here. If you breathe it in, it's gonna do massive harm. And either you can breathe it through your nose, it can get on your skin, it can go through your eyes, all these entry points. So this helps the fire department when we come. Look at that one over there. It's a 1 and a 0, 0.
And that has a W, which is no water.
It's reacting. There's no water. Can't put water on it.
Can't put water on that. It'll react. It won't have a good reaction. But those are basically for the safety guidelines for firefighters, like he says, to come in here and they know what they're working with. Okay. So we have more chemicals in here. And this is basically what we do as operators every round. I go into every room, make sure we walk around. Okay, we have a chlorine. We're not going to take you over there because it's a dead end, and basically you're just going to come right back around. We're not going to take you into any room. But there's our compressor room, our blower rooms, and another chemical room. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
It's the brown one that says 2693.
That's just a number for when the company that delivers it, how they know. With that's sodium bisulfite. That's what I was talking about earlier, where it neutralizes chlorine. See that? There's a sign. But yeah, it neutralizes chlorine. So in our neutralization, when it has there's a high amount of chlorine in there, we gotta lower it before we can send it to sanitation. And that's the chemical we use to do that.
All right, so like I said, I'm making the rounds here every hour, but we also play a little bit of laboratory work. You know, we're like mad scientists. We're building Frankenstein. No, we're not doing any of that stuff. But we are testing your water. And I goof around a lot, guys, but don't let my sense of humor take away from the severity or the crucialness of what we do here. What we do here is very, very important, and it's very, very serious. We're going to go into the lab. You sound like an operator.
make sure it comes in. Come on down.
Come on in. This is our laboratory where every hour, on the hour, we come in here and make sure everything's going. How many people get yelled at for not turning off their faucets? Right? I think we all as kids, we grew up and we got turned off. So the first day I came in here, my thing was like, somebody left the water running. Someone left the water running. In fact, the mayor pointed that out earlier. You don't leave the water running. You're taught to turn it off all the time. Well, here it runs constantly. Whenever you have to do a test, you have to let the water run for 15 minutes. And we go out here, we have a lab technician that goes out to the area, out into the field and tests the water. And that's exactly what he does when he's out there, he lets the water run. But the expert here in water, in the laboratory, is my boss here, Mr. Obed Perez. If you want to take this part over.
Yeah, I like to consider myself more of the expert here in the lab area. I do have a degree in biology, so it's kind of my bread and butter.
Who does that, right? That's a good degree to have, boys and girls.
But
Come on in, guys.
like we were saying before, we are always monitoring our water. We are testing.
Look through this way.
We are testing for the right amount of dosages. We're testing to make sure that our water meets the standards set by the by IDEM and the government entity watching over us and the EPA. We're checking for chlorine every hour. We're checking for pH levels. We're checking for phosphate levels. We're always checking these things.
Turbidity as well.
Yeah, the cloudiness of the water, making sure that's within requirements. Now we do have a lab director. He's not here. He's on vacation right now. But he's always going in the distribution system. He's doing his own testing. Okay, he's checking also to make sure our chlorine levels in the distribution are meeting requirements. He's making sure the phosphate in the distribution is meeting requirements. He's checking and doing bacteria tests for E. coli, coliform, making sure that there's nothing that's showing up that's out of the ordinary that could get someone sick. Okay, so we're always checking and making sure the safety of the community. So I did save some samples. We had recently an audit where we were given some inoculated samples with coliform, E. coli, and some of them blank samples, and we had to determine which is which. I kept them for you guys, so I thought it'd be a great example for you guys to see what we're looking for in the distribution system.
And the irony of it all, across the city we have testing points where we go to, and it's ironic, one of the areas that we go test the water is Central High School. Here's another one. This is the fire station, okay? So we have different points across the city so we can test the whole distribution system. So one of the crucial areas we go to get testing and help us know what's going on that side of town is Central High School. You can see we use the schools here at Washington Elementary because it's easy access, and you got minimum one in each district. So look, Harrison, McKinley. So these are real good, Cary Gosh. So these are real good sites to go to because we have full access to the schools. So you go to somebody's house, they may be home or may not be home, you know.
Yeah, and people, they do have homes. Some people do call up and allow them to go there and test. And you can, if there's ever a problem in your home or whatever, you feel like you need to be tested, they will go out there. Our lab tech call here, and the lab tech will go over there and test your water.
So he is doing these tests as well. These are the bacteria tests. I thought it'd be cool for you guys to see.
You guys want to see what these bacteria tests look like over here?
This is a negative for coliform, okay? Now, when it's positive for coliform, the sample will turn yellow, okay? But then we have another process to make, it's called the confirmation step. We don't want, it's one thing to be coliform, but we cannot let that be E. coli because that can cause serious damage to people and cause people to get sick. So there's another confirmation step for E. coli. E. coli is a specific type of coliform, okay? So like, an example, there are many types of cookies, but there's only one chocolate chip cookie, you know? So E. coli is a type of coliform, it's a specific type. And this step, we actually put it under a fluorescent black light, and if it fluoresces, which means it shines, we know it's positive. We don't get those around here. I just want to reaffirm that. We never get those. These are samples given us by the state. We test them, but we never get anything like this. But I just want you guys to get a visual of what we are looking for and what we could possibly see out there. So when you guys get a chance, we'll go ahead.
Coliform. It is bacteria in your boo-boo.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, connect the dots. This is what we're doing.
People, and then you can find that in one drop of water can contain it. It doesn't have to be a lot. One drop of water can contain bacteria.
Yeah.
That's it.
So when you guys get a chance, I'm going to show you what a positive looks like under the black light. I have it set up here. So when you guys get a chance, just filter through here, look at it. It's pretty cool. So someone can pass me the other one, the other yellow one. And I just wanted to show you the comparison of what we're looking for. See how this one lights up and this one doesn't? This one's much brighter. So we know that's positive for E. coli in our testing. And then we would go to the state and let them know what's going on. Go on in. It's positive for colon for, but we know when it fluoresces like this, when it lights up like this, it's E. coli. And then, like I said, we report it to the state and we take our necessary precautions to kind of make sure that everything's fine. But just to reaffirm it once again, we don't get these ever. I've never seen this. Cool? I don't know who else is back there who wants to come filter through. If you guys want to come in, see what's going on.
That we have back there that I showed you in the high service, those are the 3 pumps. The elevated tank on Chicago Avenue. So all of this has a face to it. And until you go out there, our strainers, you know, we didn't go to the pump station, but that's basically what it's breaking down to. You see how many gallons per minute are coming in.
What's the difference between these labeled waters?
Okay, this is during different processes of the filtering process. Okay, so this is that when it says raw, it's lake water.
Okay.
Okay, when it's finished water, that's it just left the membranes, it just got filtered, and it just got fed chemicals. Okay, it just got fed chemicals, and then tap water is what it's gone from the tanks and now it's going out to the city. Okay, and we are go ahead.
Minerals. What type of minerals do these waters contain?
We don't test for minerals really here. That I would imagine would be more groundwater because it's being filtered through the ground and you can pick up different types of minerals. Our water is not, ours is surface water, so it doesn't kind of interact with minerals as much as compared to groundwater.
What about this white stuff here?
Yeah, I believe that's just phosphate. You know, from our over time, just not cleaning, it just kind of builds up over time.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's all that is.
Just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the finished water is after it's done with the entire process, right?
So these are all the same basically?
No, this one's being mixed more thoroughly. This is coming from the tank. This is going to the tanks. Now, yeah, it's the same, but not really. If that makes any sense.
Okay. So this one is more like generalized and.
Yeah, this one's more thoroughly mixed,
okay.
More ready to go to the city. This one's just been filtered, just been added chemicals, and it needs more time to kind of mix throughout the water, the chemicals.
Level of confidence in the water. If you turn on the tap, I know it was high because you guys bathed in it this morning. But after this tour, where's your level of confidence? Did it go this way or did it go that way?
It kind of went a little bit down, to be honest. Now I think about it. Cause I ain't never think, you know what I mean, that it comes from the radio shit.
Do you know what you just said?
What?
That you said, here's your level of confidence in the water, and now it's down here. That's what you said.
Oh, I get what you mean. Nah, it's the same level. It's just I didn't understand at first how it was. No.
Okay.
I always had respect.
How many of you guys, your level of confidence did this?
A little bit, yeah. Mine's been up a good bit.
Would you go to that what is that? The water thing. And get yourself a swig of water right now.
Here, I'll tell you what, we're going to do better. You guys get to taste the water today, straight from the tap, straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. You know, right here, it doesn't go through any piping, it doesn't go throughout the city. It's right here, made fresh. Alrighty, guys, here, you guys, who wants to try
I'll be the
some?
first guinea pig.
Okay.
I'm behind the mayor.
I go first.
Here.
I'll come all the rest of
Pass it around.
Which one I'm capturing it from? Finish?
Yeah.
Tap.
I'm gonna cut it.
Make sure you get the tap water now.
Okay.
Don't get the raw water.
Yeah, don't get raw water. I'll tell you that right now.
It'll be sicker than a dog.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Make sure you don't get that. No.
Water, get water from the city they're in.
Yeah.
And they just go through their own process. And they're not even held to the standards we are here. Salud.
Salud.
Nostrovia, cheers, guys. Tap water, Gina. And that gets you sick. But my brother went, is in the Marine Corps, he'd have to take pills so that he wouldn't get sick because they had possible contamination of water. So contamination of water is a serious issue, guys. I know I'm a jokester and I goof around a lot, but I am very serious about my job here, as we all are, and we're making sure that the city of East Chicago has the best drinking water across the land.
And go to any third world country. Huh?
You don't even have water.
What do they? They want water. They want water. They dig a hole in the ground just to get muddy water.
Muddy water, correct.
It's just, like I say, that's how essential water is to life.
You guys want to get your weapon? No. Oh, you did? Okay. Everybody get water? I'm just kind of sitting here monitoring, making sure that you guys are getting the tap. So, are there any questions? I know I showed a few.
He likes the water.
Okay. Hey, you can bring a jug. You can bring a jug. We'll fill it up for you, man. We got the stuff in the front. You just knock on the door and they'll fill it up for you. I guess they had that at the beginning, right? Where you were able to bring your own jug in, and on the way out you can see that there's a little well or faucet right there, where that was the concept, where you were supposed to get your own water from here, straight from the tap. So. But yes, it'll give you a whole different perspective on water. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Does anyone think anything different of water now? Do you see water differently? Is it more resourceful? Is it more valuable to you? Is it, yeah, you see it as it's got actual value? Go ahead, Mary.
And what is the 3 states that water can take off? What? The 3 states.
Only chemical for unknown reason. And did you know hot water freezes up faster than cold water? Figure that out. Bad, boom, mind blowing. How does that make any sense, right? But hot water freezes better. So when you fill your ice, I don't know, does anyone do that anymore? Ice cube trays. Am I showing my age again? We have ice cube trays. You guys probably got the technology. I have ice cube trays at home, and you fill it up with hot water because it freezes faster. Okay.
And this is why when I was on the fire department, we could take a small amount of water, 1 drop of water. When it goes from a liquid and it changes to steam, the expansion rate is 1,200 times. So that 1 drop would expand 1,200 times. And that's why I can come in this room and it can be on fire if it's enclosed, and I can just go, and when it expands, the fire went out. You know? Yeah.
Wow.
In the open area it wouldn't, but in a confined area where it can trap the steam, you know, well, that's how rapid it expands.
I'm sorry, boss, I don't mean to ask you questions. Like, that's okay, Jose. That's okay. But the more you know, that's it, to become a more well-rounded. If you don't ask questions, you're not going to know. You know, it'll make you smarter for a day if you learn one thing. So get out there and stay learning. Keep that mind working. Keep those wheels spinning. Keep those wheels spinning, young men and young ladies, because life happens quick, man. Life comes quick. And so ask questions now and later on. Yes, sir.
How many gallons do we go through in a year, the city?
In a year, we go through 9 million gallons a day. So let's do the math. Somebody do the math.
265.
265 times 9 million gallons a day.
Check him out.
Yeah, that's 270 times 12 is...
12, yeah.
Well, it's actually 13 months because it's 52 weeks, so, you know. Here it is, guys. Drum roll.
Too many.
32,850,000,000.
Wow, that's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. You said B with a billion. Boy, billion?
Yeah.
That's a lot of water, boys and girls. That's a lot of water. And there's a lot of places where water conservity, they have to conserve water. For example, out west where they don't have water. My sister and my brother live in Las Vegas, so they have Lake Mead where they get their water from, but they're controlled. They can't water after 4 o'clock. or after a certain time, there's only certain periods where they can water, so they don't have lawns out there. So we are so
when you go out
fortunate.
there, it blows your mind. Like in areas in California or Las Vegas, you go out there and you look at the grass and it just looks so green. And you go up to it, it's astroturf.
It's
just like the
artificial
football
grass.
field. They got
They
artificial
don't
grass.
have real grass out there. Well, obviously for the heat, but they can't water. They can't wash their cars or anything else like that. You have to conserve it because Lake Mead is drying up, and so we're so fortunate. Just our location of our city here where we're at. You know, aside from we have highways, major highways. We have canals and rivers and lakes and an airport here. So I just think East Chicago is the best city in the world. Who loves their city?
And even though we use 9 million, we have the ability by law to take out 30 million gallons. Isn't it true? Isn't it 30?
Yeah.
30 million gallons. So you see how much we don't use. That we still have the ability. We're trying to figure out how we can sell the excess water.
As a kid, used to fill the bottled water, bottle of pops. We used to return them for 10 cents each, and I used to fill it up with water. And I'm be like, "We should sell this." I'm like, "Who would ever buy water in a bottle?" You know, I had an idea that I didn't know I had. We used to play. We used to play with it because you used to get 10 cents for every bottle you had, or a nickel. I forget what it was. Again, I came from a different era.
Yeah.
You're like, what the heck is that? Bottle? You have to return your bottles? You used to get a nickel, man. And then
Because the bottles were glass then. That's right. But not plastic. They say,
and if you had 20 cents, you had a comic book. You know, your Superman. I wish I had those comics. Now, you know, those Marvel comics and everything else. So any other questions? Any insights? Go ahead.
Do you study lake water at all? Like, do you get the lake water and put it under a microscope to see everything in it?
That's what we do here. That's or not the raw water, right?
Yeah, not the raw water. We're just testing for pH levels and all that before, but no, we don't test the actual lake water. Okay. We test it more after filtration, making sure that we don't have any nasty stuff in there after.
Okay. Making sure we're not sending out any cruddy stuff.
And this is for all of you guys. We have water test kits that we can perform dissolved oxygen, nitrate, phosphate, turbidity. Those tests we can do in the classroom. We just need samples. And guess where we are? And also, we need to base our results on a standard so we can evaluate how well or not so well we're doing our lab tests. Guess where we are? So this would be our standard for deviation. Ours would be deviation. Theirs would be the standard. So we would do a comparison between the results we get and the results that they have, and see how good. How
close you are.
That's exactly right.
And let's not lose sight of that we also test for lead or metals in the water. So, and that was the injustice that happened to us when the EPA came. We test. We're regulated through IBM. We test. And we weren't failing tests. For them to come and then try to use us for the poster child, it bordered on criminal, you know. But they say you can fool all of the people some of the time, and you can fool some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. And what? The truth prevailed. We're still standing, and we didn't have to grossly alter our process. That's where the truth prevailed, and all the injustices I feel that was heaped on us, you know. But I tell each and every one of you, you cannot go through life without being tested. Each and every one of you are going to be tested, but out of that test will come a testimony. A testimony will come out of that test. But it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure to be with each and every one of you today. I can go to sleep tonight, sleep real good, because I can see the future in each and every one of you. when God made each and every one of you, when he made, then he looked at it, he said, and this is good. So that's how wonderfully you're made. Don't let nobody tell you different. Anything you did, the next thing he said, my creation, anything it puts his mind to, it can do. Because he knew how wonderfully you was made. So never forget that. Never forget that in life. Don't let somebody set your standards. You set your bar. You set your bar.
You're all winners, man. You're all born to be successful. That's it. You're gonna, like I said, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna fall, but get right back up, dust yourself up, and keep moving forward. God first, everything else falls into place. That's my philosophy. God first, everything else falls into place, and he opens doors, he favors you. You just gotta believe and embrace everything that comes your way. So that's a little bit of you know, preaching along with the water, guys. So
to have you guys here. You are our future. There are career opportunities here for you guys.
Yes.
Okay? This is an essential job. And I think you guys are more than capable of doing something like this. Okay? I want to thank the mayor for coming.
taking time from his busy schedule, absolutely.
And we will. My word to you, with Obed and along with Jose, we're going to put our minds together. We're going to put a program together that you guys can be exposed to this in your junior and senior year. And then you have the opportunity to go to Ivy Tech or come directly here, and then we'll steer you through the process. And like I said, you have an income that will feed a family. Okay? Benefits, everything else. This is a wonderful place to work. That's all I can tell you. East Chicago is a city of hope and progress. And that hope and progress depends on how you guys set the bar.
That man had a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I see how clean our water is now, but how did the whole thing start with saying that we had light in our water?
We have some goodies for you, but again, I want to thank the mayor, I want to thank Obed
Appreciate you guys.
Perez, and I want to thank you guys for being good sports here and bearing with us. I know this is, try to get you guys a little more enjoyment than act like a fool, but you know, there's only so much I can do. So I hope.
Stand up, but just if we could all come in, I just want to say, just want to tell everybody one time. Come on in, come on in. Okay. Everyone could come in. Come on in, come on in. So just wanted to say this is compliments of Mayor Anthony Copeland and the Filtration Department. So there's a few little things in here for you. Take home. We got a couple chips and little kind of reading material there. So we want to thank everyone for coming. We appreciate you being here today, and we hope to see you again in the future, and maybe being an operator for the city of East Chicago. Here you go. Thank you.
Okay, ready? Love my city on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I love my city.
Come on this way, guys. You guys bring a lunch?
I got one of these. No. Shut up.
Watch your step.
It smells kind of funny. It does.
Come on in, welcome.
I'm going to tell you some things.
Aaron, your sense of smell for wastewater treatment, is that right?
Smartest person that I've ever met in my life is your mayor. A very, very intelligent man.
He demonstrated that to us.
Yes. He takes no backseat to anyone. A very sharp thinker to this day. So take pride that you have a mayor like Anthony. And besides, he hired me too, right? So you can't be all that dumb. Okay, I won't hold that against you guys. So I was born and raised in East Chicago, and I went to Bishopville. And my sisters, they went to East Chicago, Washington, which was in existence then. I had another sister that went to East Chicago, Roosevelt. And so my family came here for one reason. It was economic opportunity. Do you know what economic opportunity means?
Possibilities to improve your life and make more money.
Well said, son. That's exactly right. So it's opportunity, right? How many believe that opportunity only comes once? You know, there's songs, right? Who's the rapper that says only opportunity comes? And besides looking at that phone, son, if you don't mind, turn it upside down. Turn it upside down. There you go. Just for a time being, just for a short spell. I know it's painful, but you'll get over it. So water is very important to all of us, and that's the reason why you're here. So you caught the first leg of water, right? And that was water filtration. So now we're going to talk to you about water sanitation. Because this morning and every morning you guys get up and do what? Wash your face, take a shower. Where do you think that water goes? Where are you going to find that out? Now, you know, son, and I didn't mean no disrespect, I apologize. But I know that you're visual, and that's a good thing, right? Because a lot of us learn through visual aids. So you know what? I'm going to show you guys a visual aid. I'm going to ask you two to sit back in those two chairs, because it'll be hard if you turn around unless you guys want to. I think it'd be more comfortable to sit over there. Okay? I got it. Okay. I'm sorry? You can just leave it there. So here's the city's website. No, it's funny. Look at that. We are hiring. The city is in hiring mode big time. So if you guys are ready to work for the mayor, he's ready to hire you. Okay? So here in the sanitation district, we're hiring people left and right. Within the water filtration district, we're hiring people left and right. Across the city and across many industries within the city, they're hiring people left and right. So prepare yourself. And so what I wanted to do is talk to you about two things. The first one is stormwater. And does anybody know what stormwater is? Yes, sir. Water from the storm. Excellent, yeah. Water that comes from the sky, right? So what happens with that water that comes from the sky? Let's find out. And that debris plugs up our piping system. So that's a resident that's there locally, and what he's doing is pushing back the debris. So, you know, taking ownership of your neighborhood is important, as that man was demonstrating. So what he was doing was pushing back the debris so it wouldn't get in our piping system, so we don't have problems with it later on. Make sense? So this, in effect, is basically suggesting, you know, to be a stakeholder within your community. Take ownership of what's before you. Be participative. Questions? That's interesting, all this other stuff.
I want to have my own daycare.
Good for you. Next.
My favorite real estate.
And your interest?
Real estate.
Ah, very good, yes. Next.
My name is Cressida, and I want to be, well, I want to be my own manager.
Good,
My own business.
Good. Son?
Dennis, just making money right now.
Okay, good. Nothing wrong with that. Yes.
Musa, either going to be a programmer or a zoologist. Still
very
choosing.
good. Very good.
My name is
Yes.
Fabiola. I want to study psychology.
Excellent. Yes.
My name is Rayleigh, and I'm an online writer.
Ah, very nice. Yes, next.
My name is Kinaya. I'm interested in science and technology.
Beautiful.
My name's Swan, and I'm interested in being a diesel mechanic.
Excellent.
My name's Julio, and I want to be a physical therapist.
Ah, very nice. Yes.
I'm Isabel, and I would like to study about like plants and more about animals.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
I'm Malachi, and I would like to open up an orphanage.
Very good. So once again, thank you for showing interest in coming here. I wish you all the best of luck in all of your endeavors and all your studies. And you know what, son? And everyone else here, keep looking at them phones, because not only is it a source of education, but it also it's going to do what? Keep you communicative, right? It's going to keep you communicative. So nothing wrong with that. And by the way, Steve Porras, who's our operator. Steve, you want to introduce yourself, please?
I'm the plant operator here. We have 4 operators and 4 assistants. We work 24/7 here. So I'm the one who's going to take you for the tour today.
Okay, so Steve, how long have you been here now, Steve?
35 years.
So he really knows the operations, and he also saw what you guys saw. So you guys ready? Now, before we leave, see them gloves? Can you pass the gloves around? Everybody needs to wear some gloves. And it's kind of like one size fits all. I apologize if they're too small or too big. But hopefully there's enough to go around. And then, you know what? I've got to get some safety glasses and some safety jackets for you guys. Appreciate you. You might want to hold on to the rail.
Municipal waste, industrial waste, and the rainwater through a biological process. Just like you, this is my first tour, so you gotta be a little patient. I got my little cheater's notes here, so follow me. Go to the first step.
On this side, no. On this side,
It's as dirty as my bathwater.
This is what we do. How we get the waste to us. We have 9 pump stations throughout the city. Our 2 main pump stations are Magoon and Alder, which pumps to our headworks. Okay.
This is the screening operation that you saw in the video.
Face this way. These are our grid pumps, our bar springs, I'm sorry. They remove solids and non-biodegradable waste that might harm our pumps and valve. I'll show you how it runs. The waste comes down.
This is the screening process that's on the video, where all the trash is extracted from the water.
No, that's good. I like that. Very good.
Sometimes you find new things and you're like, money? You find money, people throw away money, believe it or not.
Whatever is your plus is not recorded in something else. It goes out to the conveyor belt, not to the truck, then to a landfill. That's all you think?
So that's the screening process.
That's good.
Of the raw water coming in.
This is called a student pump. What it does is it takes all the sand and all the grit out of the floor coming in. And I'll show you exactly where it's coming from. It slows the flow to the plant and measures how much you're feeding in at one time. Right now we got 11 million gallons per day coming in at one time.
What's that in the middle then?
That's the sensor.
What is the sensor? Level?
it senses the level that feeds our computer up in front in our office.
So how many gallons come through here every day?
Well, right now it's 11 million gallons per day. That's what the average is right now. We could go up to 30 million gallons per day, but then we have issues. So when it rains, it kind of messes up. This is the beginning. It comes out this way. It comes this way. That's money. This is our grit chamber. It removes the sand and the grit to the screw-in pump, which I just showed you inside there. Each stage is getting slower and slower as the tank is settled down to the basement. This goes this way. This is the plant influence coming in. This is our return sludge pump, our waste coming from our clarifier, which I'll show you later on. It's mixed together, it's called mixed liquor. Okay, it goes out to the oxidation dish. This is the oxidation ditch. This is where our biological process starts. Right. The microorganisms are mixed with the waste and water and dissolve oxygen. That's what's happening here. We got two ditches. One side, we got 4.2 million gallons of waste on one side. On the other side, the same. The lifespan of our microorganisms are 12 to 20 hours. Wow. And at this time they eat, they reproduce, and then they die. Our main microorganisms are rotifers, protozoas, and nematodes. These are our 4 aerators. They provide oxygen to our organisms and also create a flow out to our next step, which is the clarifiers. Oh, okay, good question. I got that right here. 18 feet deep.
18 feet?
18 feet deep. Our distribution box, which feeds each clarifier, 5 clarifiers. They're 11 feet deep. They contain 740,000 gallons of waste. What happens here with the microorganisms, they die off and sink to the bottom of our clarifier. Our return activated sludge pump pumps them through our sludge holding tanks and back to the headworks. The clean water flows over the top and goes out to our next building, which is the sludge holding tank. We're going back this way. The clean water is falling over and all the dirty water is going to the bottom. That's scum. That's oil and grease. Yes. Yes, that floats on top, and all the solids go to the bottom.
That's gross.
Yes, sir. I like that.
When it's raining, does it overflow?
No, it doesn't.
How?
Because it's only made to go up so much and then spills over.
Okay.
This side, guys. You guys get on this side, you can see it better. So on the bottom of each clarifier, we have return activated sludge pumps that pump to our sludge holding tanks. These are our pumps that are sucking from the bottom to our sludge holding tanks. And they're constantly on. Return activated sludge pumps. These are the return activated sludge pumps that are sucking from the bottom of the clarifiers. All the dead microorganisms will go into the sludge holding tank.
Do you still use the sludge for fertilizer material?
Yes, they do. But ours will go to a landfill.
Okay.
There's just people that just use that still.
Okay.
For the nitrogen.
Yes.
It's really good stuff.
Okay.
Okay, guys, these are our sludge holding tanks. This is what's coming from our clarifiers. We put some of them here and we put some back into our headworks.
That's right.
From here, they go to our dewatering building, in which we press for fertilization. Ours go to a landfill, and I'll show you exactly where they're at.
Okay.
So from the sludge holding tank, we pump them to our presses. We have 2 presses. This is the final product. This goes out to a landfill or used for fertilization. We also use polymer to keep it together tight.
Okay. Remember all that brown stuff? This is what it looks like after they take all the water out.
It's kind of like a sponge.
Yeah.
Violet lights. This kills off 99% of microorganisms that survive the treatment process. Lights are required on from April 1st to December 31st. If you look real quick, there's our ultraviolet lights right here. They go through, they kill all microorganisms that survive this far. These are our diffusers. They supply oxygen to our plant effluent for the plants and the fish that's in our canal where we discharge. Yes. For the fish and the plants in our canal. You know, we haven't seen it for a while. They used to be in our sand filter building. Yeah. Yes.
Those are hard glasses.
Okay, here you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, you guys? All right, guys, this is the plant effluent. This is the final stage of it. This is what goes out into the canal. If you notice how clean it is, how it was from the beginning. This is the final effluent. Excuse me?
See, that's why it's still there.
It's not clean 100%. That's why it has to go through the filtration plant so you guys can drink and take a bath in it. This is our final product though. Our effluent. This is our last thing we push out to the canal. This is our final product right here.
That's drinkable?
No, it's not drinkable. It has to go through a filtration plant first. This is the beginning, this is the end. We discharge into this canal through a 42-inch pipeline that you're standing over.
Oh, wow.
It's right there, and there's one here. We discharge into the canal that leads out to the Grand Calumet River that enters Lake Michigan. The whole process from the beginning to the end for our microorganisms takes 24 hours.
You ever see any fishing here, Steve?
There's always fishing here.
I seen a fish.
Oh, did you?
Always fishing here. Salmon and carp.
Beautiful.
Okay, we can go now.
That's it. This is our basin. It's used for extreme emergencies. If we have too much water in the pan coming and we can't handle it, we got to push it in here to be treated later.
Question.
Yes, sir.
You know, I've seen people take fish food and kind of sort of throw it out there.
Yes. In here we have salmon and carp.
Yup.
A lot of wildlife, a lot of fish, a lot of white egrets, blue herons. They're all in here.
Okay.
A lot of deer, a lot of raccoon, a lot of possum. Everything's here. So that's a good sign that we're doing the right thing. Especially you, poor things freezing.
Don't worry about it. It's just one. He's a big one.
Oh, there's another one over there.
That's a big one. Good Lord, look at the size of that puppy.
Of what?
Oh,
Turtle shell.
there's a turtle shell.
There's one over there.
One is dead. The other one, I'm not sure.
Oh my
Probably
god.
just chilling.
It's probably not living.
Yeah.
There's one right there too.
That one's confirmed dead. The other bigger one probably chilling.
Now, what do you have going on over there?
This is our basin.
Wow.
Okay.
So if you ever just...
Yeah.
Now are you the science teacher?
Yes.
Great. That's nice.
Yeah.
A lot of interest?
Oh man, I have water testing